Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we are here for the Truck Series Nashville preview. All three series racing at Nashville Superspeedway this weekend, Jay. It's going to be really nice to see all three series at the track this weekend.
It is. It's always great when we see the group there, and we'll talk about that when we hit the driver entry list, see some of that crossover or other drivers running in other series. I don't think anybody's doing the triple this weekend, but Nashville would be one of those kind of interesting to see somebody try the triple.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen that. I know there for a while, Ross Chastain was racing every race of the weekend. But we're going to start today with the NASCAR Truck Series racing at Nashville Superspeedway. They're racing the Rackley Roofing 200. It is Nashville Superspeedway is a 1.33 mile concrete paved oval. That race will be Friday night, May the 30th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and coverage will be on Fox Sports 1. That's the home network for the Truck Series at 8 p.m., along with radio coverage on the NASCAR Racing Radio Network, and that is NRN, as well as SiriusXM NASCAR Channel 90. Now, they'll race a distance of 199.5 miles over 150 laps. Stage 1 is 45 laps, ending on lap 45. Stage 2 is 50 laps, ending on lap 95. And then the final stage will be 55 laps, ending on lap 150. So this Friday, the Craftsman Truck Series practice and Kennemental pole qualifying will be on Fox Sports 1 starting at 4:30 p.m. And then, of course, the race later that day, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1, NRN, and SiriusXM. So, Jay, we've got some insights and storylines here for the Truck Series.
Well, I like to start with, we got to look at that entry list because I already kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
And the first one I saw I was excited about. William Sawallitt's going to be in the number 1 Tricon truck. The number 2, Clayton Green. This one may not excite fans or competitors alike. The number 07 going to be Kyle Busch. The number 7, though, is Corey Day. Then we also have the number 63 going to be Okinori Ogatada. So looking forward to that for sure here with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Did you happen to see on Fox Sports 2 this weekend, they were playing dirt races with Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, their series?
Yes, I did.
They did.
I don't know if I recorded it.
They did a feature on Corey Day, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I got that one recorded or not. I'll have to look when we get done with these previews. I didn't see that though with the High Limit series. So
yes.
We know what a success that's been in the past for other series, as well as NASCAR as a whole. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Well, they talked about Corey Day. They talked about Rico Abreu. They talked about Kyle Larson, of course. It just was really, really insightful. I thought they did a great job with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to try and catch that next time if it didn't get recorded.
Okay. It's good to see Corey Day is going to be in this truck race.
It is. And we know that's one of those that's the future in NASCAR coming now. So we'll talk about him, I think, a little bit later here. But starting with this weekend, it's marking the 18th running of a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Nashville Superspeedway, and the 5th since NASCAR returned to the track in 2021.
Christian Eckes led all 150 laps at Nashville in 2024 after starting from the 3rd position. So he was pretty dominant in last year's race.
And we think Corey Haim's been dominant, but he's got some stats to prove that. We'll talk about in a little bit.
Yes,
but five of the 11 races in 2025 have had a pass for the win in the last 5 laps. And a short track, it's intermediate, I guess, but it does lend itself to that. So I'm excited to see the trucks here on this 1.33 mile.
Well, it's Haim time, Jay. Corey Haim, 754 laps led this season is the most ever through the first 11 races of any season.
Now, with that also, you got his 8 stage wins, which are tied for the most all-time through 11 races, and that is John Hunter Nemechek in 2021 that he ties that mark with.
Okay, Corey Haim led the most laps in 7 of 11 races in 2025. He only went on to win 3 of those 7 races, but you and I both know he could have won maybe 3 more.
Well, and that tells you right there. We talked about that, of how much more impressive his stats could be. Now, only 7 drivers entered at Nashville have more career laps led than Corey Haim has led laps this season. That is absolutely unbelievable when you try and compare that. Career versus one season.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Tricon Garage started 1, 2, 3 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. They swept the top 3 starting positions for the first time in that organization's history. So that was a milestone for Tricon Garage.
It was indeed. And another milestone, if you will, is Tyler Ankrum, as he ended a 130 race winless streak back at Rockingham, which does hold the record for the most starts between wins in Truck Series history.
Yes, and we may have Rockingham on our Hot Topics sound-off conversation coming up on Monday.
That or one of us comes up with $12 million. I mean, all right, we'll just talk about it.
I know who it's not going to be.
Oh, you ruined the surprise.
Okay, Corey Haim is the only driver to lead in all 11 races so far this season as well. And he's just breaking records everywhere, Jay.
And Tyler Ankrum's trying to hold with him, as Tyler Ankrum and Corey Haim lead all drivers with 7 top 5 finishes in 2025. Just those 2 drivers, and that tells you Tyler Ankrum having a solid season.
He is. He's a young driver, 22 years old. He is tied right now with the veteran of the sport, Matt Crafton, for 10th in the all-time Truck Series wins list with 15. Haim achieved this in 388 fewer starts than Matt Crafton. So that's just incredible to me.
Now, overall, Haim is the 4th fastest driver to win 15 wins in the Truck Series.
Okay, now there were 2 overtime finishes in the last 4 races of this season. There were none in the previous 21 races. So you can see that the intensity is kind of ramping up already.
It is, and I'm excited about it. Mentioned he's on the entry list, and if I had to guess at one of those 3 drivers I just said fastest to win 15, Kyle Busch would have to be one of my thoughts anyway. And he's got 11 wins on concrete tracks, which is the most all time, and he won in both starts at Nashville. So like I said on the entry list when we talked about it, that doesn't bode well for the competition.
No, it doesn't. Now, Kyle Busch did not lead a lap in his last 2 starts. It was the first time since 2011 that he did not lead in consecutive starts. That's incredible as well. The last time he failed to lead in 3 consecutive starts goes back a ways. We're talking 2007.
Wow. Talked about NASCAR just returning to Nashville in 2021. Kyle Busch hasn't been there, though, so it'll be 14 years, 1 month, and 8 days between Nashville Truck Series starts for Kyle Busch.
Wow. And Charlotte was the first time that Nice Motorsports had 3 trucks finish within the top 10. So exciting for that organization as well.
And we love to talk about this, just the overall competition. The 149 lead changes and 84 different leaders through these first 11 races this season are the series most. So, gotta love the competition.
Yes, indeed. And we've also got some other information here that we can share. But it might be the same, but it's going to be a little bit different at the same time, if you will. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is on race 5 of a season high stretch of 6 consecutive race weekends with Friday nights stops at Nashville Superspeedway for that Rackley Roofing 200. So it's 6 consecutive race weekends. You know, in the early part of their season, it seems like there's these huge gaps between races, but they've been racing every week for a while now. It's going to end, though.
Yeah, the sad face, right?
Yes.
Now, we do have, obviously, as a championship front runner, Corey Heim. He'll be making his second NASCAR Cup Series start for 2311 racing on Sunday night. He collected his 4th Truck Series trophy of the season with a dominant performance at Charlotte Motor Speedway last weekend, extending his lead atop the standings to a 100-point gap heading into Friday night's race. Driver of the number 11 Tricon Garage Toyota has twice as many wins at 4, has led 3 times as many laps, 754 we hit, as anyone else, and only finished outside the top 10 twice in 11 races to date this year. And those are all series best statistics. And we've had that or seen that from him in years past too.
Heim, however, has never won at Nashville, surprisingly enough. He has 2 top 5 finishes and 3 starts there, but he crashed out in his Nashville debut going back to 2022 and was a career best 3rd place just last year. So you know he's going to want to better that stat.
Now, if you take him out as the huge front runner, the standings are a lot closer among the other title contenders. We know there will be 4 in the championship hunt when it comes down to it. So we'll look at Front Row Motorsports' Chandler Smith. He's a 2-time race winner, is second to Heim, but holds only a 10-point advantage over McAnally Hilgerman Racing Daniel Hemrick, and then a 19-point cushion over Hemrick's teammate Tyler Ankrum mentioned. And they are the only other race winners among the full-time competitors in 2025.
Okay, and actually they are on their countdown already for their season finale to determine who are going to be the 10 drivers that go into the playoffs. So here's an interesting stat for you, Jay. No current full-time drivers have ever won at the 1.33 mile track known as Nashville Superspeedway.
That one is interesting when it comes to looking at that entry list and who we think might win it. So that'll be interesting. But the answer there, if it is, it's the 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, Kyle Busch, who won both the 2010 and 2011 Nashville truck races from the pole position. But again, that's been over 14 years. He'll be making one of his limited starts this Friday in that number 07 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet.
And keep in mind that Christian Eckes was racing in full-time in the Truck Series last year, and he's the defending winner. He won that race last year, but he's not in the field for this year's race.
Now, when we look at practice, that'll be at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, followed immediately by the Kennemetal pole qualifying at 5:10 Eastern. Both sessions are airing live on FS1. Stuart Friesen won pole position last year and finished 11th. Now, it's been 3 years since a pole sitter also won the race, and that was Ryan Priest last to do it in 2022. That's good. A little bit of good news for Stuart Friesen, who could use a pick-me-up maybe by getting another pole there at Nashville.
Yes, indeed. And he needs that pick-me-up along with maybe a few of the other drivers. But let's go ahead and talk about the points report because, you know, sometimes it's good to know that going into the race. And this race is on Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1.
Well, we've already talked about the top 4 that all have wins. And just to give you a quick update to that, though, playoff points are huge. Corey Heim has 28, Chandler Smith 11. Again, they're almost talking 3 times as many. Daniel Hemrick only has 5, Tyler Ankrum 6. Then you get into these drivers, though, without wins, but do have some playoff points. Grant Enfinger is in 5th with 2, as well as Lane Riggs in 6th, has 2 playoff points. Then you have Caden Honeycutt, Jake Garcia, Ty Majeski in 9th, our defending champion, right on the edge of the cut line at 327. He's got a gap over Stuart Friesen. Stuart Friesen at 291. That's a 36-point gap. However, that's only half a race, points-wise, if you will. Majeski does have the 1 playoff point, though, built up. Stuart Friesen does not. So, putting the cut line at Friesen at 291, go back 7 points, and you have Gio Ruggiero, a rookie, and he's been having some strong runs lately. I think he could be dangerous. Then you got a 2-time champion, Ben Rhodes. Rajah Caruth, a previous winner. Tanner Gray, right on the edge. 15th, done it all. Veteran Matt Crafton, still in the mix. So this weekend, I know this weekend there's 7 left, I believe. So after this weekend, it'll only be 6 races left. Getting down to it, like you said, that countdown is on. That bubble there, and no better time for Stuart Friesen to have a really good race. He don't want to be that bubble no more.
Exactly. And these points are pretty tight, for these drivers. So they are going to want every point they can possibly get to better their position for those playoffs. Some really interesting storylines here for the Truck Series, and I can't wait to watch this race.
And here's the interesting thing. Again, if a win comes from below the cut line, even if Stuart Friesen were to say finish 2nd and gain points as it stands right now, if the winner were from below the cut line, he would actually lose because he'd go from being 9 up to 36 out. I mean, just like that.
And you got to think a driver like Ben Rhodes, who's from Louisville, Kentucky. Nashville Superspeedway is real close to his neck of the woods there. He's got to want to grab a win at Nashville if at all possible.
Most certainly, and you got to love that trophy, the guitar. I mean, that's one of the coolest, unique trophies there is in NASCAR's, I say all 3 top 3 series. There are some unique ones, but I think, and it represents Nashville. I mean, that's what I love. It is so representative as well as unique. I think they do a great job with that.
Okay, well, we know that there's going to be some interesting different drivers that are going to be in the race this weekend, including one that I know you pull for. You've got another veteran in Kyle Busch in that number 07 again this weekend. And then a new guy, Corey Day, who's working on the ladder of NASCAR, getting his foray into NASCAR. Who's your pick? You've got the Corey Heim, who has been tough to beat.
The pick to win it, that'll be a tough one. I think it is going to be a Heim-Busch battle. However, especially coming off the rough weekend last weekend and wanting to get back into the mix of showing he's a contender, I look for Chandler Smith, and also talked about the defending champion, Ty Majeski. I know it's right in the middle between what we'd call the intermediate, the 1.5, and a short track is less than a mile. And this is right in that middle. So it's like, I don't know what you call it, but Ty Majeski, don't count him out either.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It is going to be fun to watch. I thought it was going to be a Corey Heim, Kyle Busch matchup last week, and it turned out not to be so much so. So it really ended up, I think, being 2 different drivers. Corey Heim, of course, was one of those drivers. But I think you can't count out Tyler Ankrum either.
Ankrum is another one. Again, a very, very, very solid season. I know when we kind of on our hot topics talked about a little early, but who we think are going to be the championship for, just based on what we've seen so far in this season. And Tyler Ankrum's making a case. There ain't no doubt about it.
Yes, he is. Okay, you do want to watch for more coming soon. Was there anything you wanted to mention before we move on to that, Jay?
No, I think for me anyway, we've seen him running in the ARCA Menard series. William Sawalich, his Xfinity series rookie year, a little bit of a struggle, but I think we've seen the improvement as he's gone back to running more races. And I think running here in the Truck Series is going to help that as well. That's my hope. So I'll be watching him as well as you mentioned, Corey Day. Yeah, most certainly with his debut there.
Okay, so a lot of drivers to watch this weekend and see if Corey Heim can continue to make history with the banner season that he's had already this year. So there's only 3 races this weekend in NASCAR's top 3. So we've got the Truck Series preview. We still will be putting together tonight the Xfinity and the Cup Series preview. Everybody's racing at Nashville Superspeedway this weekend. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, after the weekend's over, we always do our review shows for all 3 series, as well as our Hot Topic Sound Off. You heard us allude to it a little bit earlier as to some of the topics we might be discussing on Monday night. It is a live stream. We are seeing a pickup on the number of people that are tuning in for Hot Topic Sound Off on Monday nights. So we really, really appreciate that and want to let everybody know how much we do appreciate you taking the time to tune in to any of our shows. But to get the interaction going on the NASCAR Hot Topic Sound Off, I think would be great, because that was the intention of that show, is to get fan interaction with us as we discuss some of the hottest topics that are happening within the NASCAR ranks. So with that, Jay, I think we're ready to move on to our next video. And I know I'll see you there.
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody. See you in the next video. And, we'll see you soon. Take care.